We're live.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. I feel like that one needs to come down a little bit too. Do you mind? Just so we're not like hiding at the bottom. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, babe. All right, let's get logged on here so we can see what the heck is happening. Good morning, and welcome back to episode 22 of Behind the Sign. We are here today. You've got myself, Jacqueline Clement, Sarah DeBoer, Jessica Menard, and we're here with our special guest, Nick from DeBoer Home Inspections. Today in this episode, we're going to be chatting with Nick about how to avoid potential disaster. So preparing your home for fall and winter so you don't have issues come spring, because where we live, there's always problems with the snow and the water. We're also going to talk about conditions because they are back, which will go into market stats. Yep. And then we're going to end off the show with a live tour of our secret location, which we're going to divulge all the info. You can see how stunning it is. So if you'd like to know more, stick around to the end of the show and we will take you around. So let's get into it with Nick.
Nick, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for coming on. I know there's a lot to prepare for when it comes to winter. We've got all sorts of different things, like we've got high winds, we've got snow coming in, we're going to have a lot of melts happening. I guess where I want to start is, what are the key things you want to make mention of that you should be preparing for in the next few weeks as fall comes in?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me, guys. And I have a checklist here for the seasons for any homeowner they can look at to some maintenance items for their homes for all 4 seasons of the year.
Awesome. So this, just so everyone can see, on the back of it, we've got checklists. Very cool.
I just put up a post on my Instagram page for the fall maintenance checklist, which I guess we'll be covering today.
Mm-hmm. And people can email you, or how would they get this?
Yeah, anybody can email me and I can send you one, or I'll pass them out to whoever wants one.
Cool. So we'll throw up Nick's contact details in the write-up.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Thank you. So where should we start? Should we start with like outside maintenance? What are we looking for?
Yeah, so for in the fall, you're going to want to check things like make sure on the outside, make sure your gutters and downspouts are, first of all, clean and clear of any debris. Mm-hmm. It's hard for them to do their job if they're plugged. Mm-hmm. And make sure that water is diverting away from the house. So the downspouts need to be, ideally 6 feet away from anywhere that on the foundation.
So question, we were having a debate the other day. The downspouts that go into the ground, yay, nay, are they bad? Are they terrible?
Like the ones that where you bury them because it looks
and you have no idea where it ends up?
Yeah, not terrible. It's just a matter of making sure that they're discharging appropriately. Mm-hmm. And that they're not getting plugged. Animals like to get into those ones, the little nests and stuff. So just a little extra maintenance to check them, especially in the fall. Make sure that they're clean and clear.
Okay.
Okay. So if you bury them, there should be like an opening where it comes out
not
somewhere.
To stay in the ground.
Because a lot of them that we see are literally just completely buried.
Yeah, a lot of times it's hard to find the discharge point, and it's important to do that. Some, over the years, the grass will grow up around it, and you won't be able to find the discharge point. It can get plugged that way.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of people too, like tying it right into the weeper from the house kind of thing, but then you don't know where that weeper ends or where that goes.
Yeah.
So that can be kind of problematic.
Add additional water to the foundation of your house.
Yes. No.
That kind of comes back to like, remember the one time we were on Facebook and there was a question about the sump pump and where it's supposed to discharge, and somebody was saying that they put it right. Oh no, it was something discharging in the house and they were putting it into their sump pump or something, and you're not supposed to, like, there's certain places you're supposed to put your discharge water off of or into, and not into town sewers. And
yes, yeah.
There's lots of questions.
That would also just give yourself a mega workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have a backup generator.
Right.
Awesome. So if we're going to start with the gutters, downspouts, anything else on the outside that we should be looking at?
Yeah, if you have like a lawn irrigation system that waters the lawn automatically for you, then you're going to want to winterize it. Around this time, we're starting to get close to the freezing point with temperatures. So just blow out all the water out of the lines, and you can use like an antifreeze type thing like you use in your RV. Same stuff you can put in your irrigation system to protect those pipes from freezing as well.
Never thought of that.
Water spouts, last time you were on, we talked about
The
those.
frost-free taps.
Yeah.
Oh, the frost-free taps,
Yeah.
that's one I see a lot actually. Not non-frost-free hose bibs on the exterior of homes.
Mhm.
Our house still doesn't have it.
Oh, right under the bus.
Yeah.
Guilty. It's on the honey-do list.
Yeah.
So how would people, again, I think we talked about this in our original episode with you, but it was a long time ago. So how do people know if they have a frost-free outdoor faucet
Mhm.
or if they need to shut off the water from the inside? Because that's the difference, right?
I do have a post about this on my Instagram page. People can go check it out. But the frost-free ones, they have like an extra, like where the tap is, there's a little extra round piece at the top. It's the easiest way to identify if it's frost-free.
Okay.
Okay.
And so the way they work is that the tap where it stops is actually inside the house past the insulation. So it's in the heated area of the home. So it's not going to freeze in there.
And so if you don't have one of those, you need to shut off your water from the inside and
Definitely.
drain.
Yeah, definitely shut the tap off on the inside and then just go outside and open the spout to let any water that's in there just dribble out, and then you don't have to worry about it freezing.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else that we would be doing?
On the outside of the home, well, yeah, like if you have an emergency generator, like if you live in the country, if you have a backup generator, it's a good time to put fresh gas in, tune it up, get it ready for the year. Maybe you want to call it like a small engine mechanic to come take a look at it, change the oil, make sure it's in good working order, just in case your power does go out.
Mhm.
Your backup is good to go.
I haven't heard that one before or seen it on a list, so that's a good
That's a good one to think of, because it's in the emergency situation that you're like, oh crap, I need a generator.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you don't really think about it until you need it,
Right.
and then if it's not working, you're gonna be upset.
It's kind of like when you come into the furnace too, like all of a sudden it's freezing, or the AC and you go to turn it on in the beginning and you haven't done any maintenance, all of a sudden nothing works and
Right.
everybody's is broken, so you can't get anybody in.
Right.
So just doing those maintenance checks is key there. So I think that's another one is the AC covering. Like I know there's always a debate back and forth on whether to cover the AC unit outside. I've always been one to leave it open. I was told by my HVAC guy, to leave it open so that the moisture doesn't build up inside. So,
Same.
I know a lot of people like to cover it. I think just putting a piece of wood on top is what they
Yes,
say, right?
yeah.
Yeah, just in case any ice falls off the roof or anything, it doesn't damage the unit. But I've always heard as well just to leave them open so they can breathe. They're designed to be outside in the elements.
Mhm.
So
That's true. Awesome. Inside, what would we do in there?
So yeah, that would be a good time to check your home for water leaks. So like if you have a leaky toilet, for example, I know we just experienced that at our home.
What's happening at your home?
We bought an older home with the anticipation of doing upgrades and building equity as we go.
Right.
She's a bit of a fixer-upper, but we're getting there.
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, one good way to do that, if to find out if you have any leaky fixtures or toilets or anything, is just go downstairs and take a picture of your water meter at night before you go to bed.
Oh.
And then while you're sleeping, obviously no one's using any water. Then you can go down in the morning and check it, take another picture and compare. And if the numbers are different, then your home is using water somewhere.
Right.
And then if you can't discover the leak yourself, you can always call plumbing to check it out.
I would have never thought to do that. That's smart.
Yeah. This is why he's here.
Yeah.
Right? All these clever little tidbits.
Anything with like smoke alarms? I know furnace, you switch out the furnace filter.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's a good idea to have your furnace and HVAC system just service at this time of year. You haven't used your furnace, you probably haven't used your heat since April or May.
Mhm.
So it's a good idea to get like an HVAC professional in to clean the furnace, service it, make sure everything's good to go. He can change the filter for you at that time.
It reminds me, I want to get my ducts cleaned.
Mhm.
I was just about to say, segue into one of the items on our list was to clean up your dryer vent.
Yes, yeah.
We always love those duct cleaning phone calls, but some of them are legit and it is something
actually
that
should do.
actually needs to be done. Although the Instagram reels going around where the guy's using his blower
Yeah.
is really
I really
neat
wanted
too.
to try that. The one on the dryer vent, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
It'll be
and you
Instagram.
put the
videos.
nylon up. Let's do it.
Or a garbage bag with a couple air holes or something.
Yes, yeah.
But
Yeah, for all you DIYers out there is an attachment you can get for an air compressor, or just like a brush on a long flexible stick you put in your drill. You just turn the dryer on, go outside, stick this in the pipe, turn it on, and just watch the lint come out.
I mean, is it dangerous now that you've told that? Like, can you get electrocuted or something, or like get trapped?
No,
It's just warm air. It's just warm air that's coming out.
Okay. Well, I just don't have any liability when you get
It's more important than you realize, though, because that lint, if it catches fire, it's going to be a disaster. And just in general, like, your dryer is going to work more efficiently if it can breathe properly.
Yeah.
You know, if the holes, if the pipe's plugged up and there's just like a small hole to push the exhaust out, it's going to work harder to get the job done.
I've been at my house for 6 years, and I literally this weekend, just for the first time, like scrubbed my lint trap.
Yeah,
First time.
I've just done that recently too. I hadn't done it
Did you
ever.
know you can take the back off the dryer and do, like, that's
Yes.
where all the socks go?
Really?
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram. Yeah.
I'm totally gonna try
It's my
that.
washer that eats my socks, though, and I know where they go, and it's a pain in the ass.
Oh, and do you have a filter? Do you have one of the ones that has
Yes,
the filter?
the draining thing at the bottom.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's
Interesting.
a gross job, tempting.
So
Pretty
gross.
nasty.
Yeah.
And awkward, because it's at the bottom.
It's the worst
Gravity
place, and
below.
how do you get a container under that so it captures all the water?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate them.
A man must have designed it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Civil engineering. But going back to pipes outside, the snow is another big one. So you want to make sure that your snow doesn't pile up and block all your vents
Your
too.
exhaust
right?
vents,
Exhaust
yes.
vents.
But there's lots of us talking about snow and when they're shoveling, because people don't think about home maintenance when they're just out there shoveling.
Yeah, they're like, get this off my driveway.
Yeah.
So where should they put it? What should they avoid?
As far away from the house as you can. You don't want to pile any snow up against the house, because that'll be the last section to melt, and all that snow equals all that water when it melts. And if that's beside your house, you know, it can get down into the foundation, potentially intrude into the home. Another thing you want to watch with snow is that your furnace, and if you have a high efficiency water heater, the intake and exhaust pipes for those are typically white plastic on the outside of your home. You want to make sure those are clean and clear. Our house typically gets a drift right up against there, so I'm always out there cleaning that away, but those appliances have to breathe.
Oh, that's a good point. So not even just piling your own snow there, making sure that nature's not piling it.
Yeah, drifts are cool.
And that
Yeah.
goes for your, especially if you have a gas fireplace or those sort of exhaust, would it still be called?
Yeah.
And your dryer.
Yeah, that stuff has to be clean and clear.
Anything else with fireplaces?
Yeah, actually, it's a good time now if you have a fireplace or wood stove to call a chimney sweep to come in and sweep your chimney and just give everything a once over. Creosote, the longer you let it go, the worse it gets. It can become a fire hazard. So you want to make sure that your chimney is clean and you can get a good draft so it can do its job.
Especially if they have an older fireplace that might not be double walled.
Yeah.
Like the piping itself. I know personally, I lived in older houses and we had to replace all of that because it was still single walled. Obviously, if they haven't sold the property in a while, it may not have been upgraded.
Yeah, I would know. I just heard of actually a terrible house fire that started that exact way
Creosote in the chimney.
in the chimney. And yeah, it was terrible.
The longer you let it go, the worse it gets. So it's a good idea to get it done every fall. You'll thank yourself.
Another thing that I feel like people living in town might not think about as much as people living in rural country places where Jacqueline and I are, but mice.
Oh, yeah.
Tis the season for
Yeah.
mice to come and find a home as soon as the temperature
Already.
drops.
Yeah.
So even just taking like a quick outside circle check
Yeah.
and look for kind of any, like they can get into like the tiniest little holes.
Oh no, we had them last year, and
Right?
they literally
Yeah.
would climb up the side of the brick wall
Yes.
into the soffits, into the garage. And
Yes.
I was like, Nick, I saw one day. I'm like, Nick, a mouse just went up the wall. And he's like, no, it didn't. And I was like, yes, it did.
Yes.
He's like, you're crazy.
Yeah, it's all after it was like, holy smokes.
I
Yeah,
never
yeah.
did that either. And my first property, we had like a sunroom built off the back that had a hot tub in it that the older people had put on. We decided to tear it down. And the day we tore everything off, the mice screwing up the back brick wall because it was open under. This was like an open deck underneath.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Gross.
Yes.
I don't mind them, they're cute, but yeah, no, thank you, not my house.
No.
No, because they ruin stuff, right?
They do.
Like they have
Yes.
babies and they make nests with your insulation.
Your
and
wires.
your wires,
Yeah.
and obviously chew bigger holes for bigger drafts and more rodents and bigger rodents.
Yeah.
So
So really, like, there's 1,000 different places for them to get into your house, but like, you're talking up on your roof, you're talking the size of the house, like, how do you even, are you climbing up on your roof? What are you doing? How do you
well, I know
get
from
into places?
trailering the best tip is steel wool.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
But
one.
there's a different type of steel wool. You have to get like not the SOS pads, like the actual
Mhm.
right.
It's actually steel shavings, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't chew through that.
Yeah,
Right.
stuff that in everywhere you can. And then that kind of leads us to also checking seals, like windows,
Yeah, you're
doors,
talking.
drafts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how much air can come in, even just the smallest crack
Mhm.
in your home or a failed seal on a door or window. So it's a good idea to give that stuff a once over, and that can be a DIY project, to redo the caulking, or you can hire a contractor as well.
I'd say we see a lot of like main entrance doors
Mhm.
or back doors where the seals are toast. Like you can literally see the light coming through.
Yeah.
And it's not expensive to replace a seal on a door.
Mhm.
So fix that.
It's worth the investment if you save in the heating costs,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Keep the warm air in.
Especially now.
Totally. I've actually had, our front door was replaced a few years ago, but I've called the company back twice to replace like the threshold seal. And it's just from the kids like flinging in and out, the rubber rips off and
Right.
Garage
Just,
doors, yeah.
Just to touch on the fireplace again, with a fireplace or wood stove comes firewood. So talking about mice, keep your firewood kind of away from the home, because it does attract a lot of mice and pests and stuff that like to build little homes in there. So
Yeah.
if you store your firewood away from the home, then less chance of them coming into the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
I'd be sending the man outside to go get the wood.
Well, yes.
It's cold outside.
Exactly. It's cold, it's heavy, it's dirty, it's definitely mixed up.
Awesome.
Other ways to utilize a home inspector. So obviously the obvious, when you're purchasing a home, you get a home inspection as part of the condition of sale, but there's lots of other ways that home inspectors can be utilized.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Every home should be inspected every year. It's part of home maintenance, especially for people who don't really know, a lot of stuff about the home. They can call myself, or any certified home inspector can come by and inspect the property inside and out, and look at a lot of this stuff for you, and then give you some recommendations on stuff that you should, look at right now, and stuff that maybe can wait till the spring or and so on.
Mhm.
Now you hit on an interesting word there, certified home inspector.
Yeah, that's important. You definitely want somebody who's certified and knows what they're looking at, has the proper training and experience to do the job right.
So I think what a lot of people don't realize, and it's a big debate, because I saw this one on Facebook the other day too, is you don't actually have to be certified to call yourself a home inspector in Canada.
Right.
So you have to specifically ask those questions and ask what the credentials are, because anybody can say, oh yeah, I'm a home inspector.
Right.
So it's very, very important.
Yeah, it's not regulated at all in Ontario. There are provinces in Canada where there is licensing required, but not here.
Okay.
So yeah, anybody with a flashlight can be a home inspector. So
I didn't
It
realize
is
that.
important.
I really did not know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is important to find somebody with proper training and experience. Absolutely.
I mean, you go the extra steps too. You've done the schooling, you've done multiple certifications, you have the insurance, like a realtor, there's insurance applied to that. So someone who doesn't have a certification or doesn't pay for the insurance, what happens if you run into a problem the inspector should have found?
I had this question yesterday. I called Nick because I had a sale deal that the buyer brought their own home inspector, and they came in and were testing electrical outlets and fried a bunch of stuff, essentially is what we thought. So my homeowners were freaking out, wondering what the heck had gone on. So I called Nick saying, so what happens here? Like, I don't know who this person is. You're trusting in the buyer's agent to bring somebody reputable through, representation for their buyer. So anyway, luckily it didn't end up being too big of an emergency. I sent my brother-in-law, who's a master electrician, down, and it ended up being a few plugs that were wired backwards
Oh.
by their contractor who had done the renovation. So again, when you're hiring a contractor, make sure that they also actually know what they're doing. Yeah. So anyway, it was a $350 bill as opposed to something that could have been much worse. But yeah.
Yeah, don't be scared to ask for the credentials for
Yeah.
a home inspector, contractor, or anything like that. Anybody who's doing it for a living should be able to provide you with that information.
I think also getting the report, because I know you guys invest a lot into your reporting system too. So having like all these things come back to you saying whether it's a big deal, it's a little deal, or like deal with this next spring type of thing.
They should be like
Something's-
800 pages. Okay, maybe not that many, but like
No, not
usually
800.
there are 50 to 90 pages.
Mhm.
So if you get one and it's like 2 pages.
Be concerned.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
I mean,
need to
granted,
do that.
I had an inspector one time put that there was like markings in the carpet because a dresser was sitting there. So like stuff like that doesn't need to be on there.
No.
It doesn't necessarily have to be 90 pages
Yeah.
with everything, but like
Mhm.
make sure it's actual
Details.
issues. Yeah.
All homes have cosmetic
Crystal.
blemishes. Every home has that little scuffs here and there. It's just part of it happens when people live in a home.
Right.
I don't put that type of stuff in the report because every home has that little things here and there.
Some do and some don't. I guess the important takeaway is like you have to read because you guys highlight, like I think yours are
Major
color coded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's major, what kind of needs to be addressed right away, but isn't necessarily like a big danger. And then things that are like caulking. Us realtors always love when inspectors talk about caulking because it's in every single report.
Or the downspouts. Downspouts extending from the corners of the property.
But there's always
Yeah.
a blurb
Yeah.
that follows to tell you, as the one getting the inspection report, like how serious is this? Is this something I need to fix immediately?
Yeah.
Or should I be renegotiating here because it's pretty major?
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
a whole system.
Absolutely.
And that was one of the reasons why I chose the software that I did, because it did separate things into major concerns where it's like a material defect in a property that can be a safety hazard to people.
Mhm.
Or, and then the next category is recommendations for things that if not taken care of in the near future could potentially turn into a safety hazard. And then I have the maintenance section or the honey-do list section where it's mostly DIY stuff, maintenance stuff.
To all these
A
things.
lot
we-
of stuff that people can do themselves.
Right. Yeah.
And I find that very, very easy when you get a report. It's online. I can offer a PDF, but it's online. You get a link to it in your email, and then you can just scroll through at your leisure on your phone, tablet, PC, and it's all right there.
Awesome. So with that said, inspections are back. They're being accepted on most deals that I'm seeing going through. So that's great. Great
Yeah.
to have that option again, understanding the ins and outs of your house.
Mhm.
But with the market, should we get into market stats?
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody know what's going on out there?
Let's do it.
If anyone has any questions about the market right now, because we are in a changing market, by all means, please pop them in the chat and we'd be happy to address them. But what are we seeing, ladies?
Well, do you want to start with Orangeville?
Sure. So Orangeville, we saw kind of, I think on my own personal post, I put that the slow August kind of continued into September, which took a lot of us by surprise. Generally, we're anticipating, a fall market pickup again before the holidays set in. And we kind of just coasted along and seen more listings come to the market and our number of transactions kind of down. So for example, we only saw 27 sales in September in Orangeville. Last September, we saw 44. So that's, I don't even know what that would be in a percentage. I want to say like 35% less or something. Translating into, 1.7 months of inventory last year, we're up to 3.4 months of inventory. So Steph, we had a little chat before we came on the air. We just feel like things are sticking around a little bit longer. So that's allowing our inventory levels to pick up on top of the new listings that are being added to the market. The days on market stats that were reported for September, I don't feel is accurate.
No.
I think that that's a reflection of cancels and relists because it claimed that we were only 15 days on market. And I think everyone would agree that that cannot be correct.
Right. So I think we should explain why. So
Yes.
I think we talked about this for the last few months anyway, in every episode we've done, but it's important to note why we feel this way. So when we're in a market like this and listings are sitting around for a little while and there's a ton of competition, A common strategy for real estate agents would be when you get to that fork in the road where you need to reduce the price. Generally, if it's been up for a while or you've already done a price reduction and this is the second or third, you would cancel the listing, take it off market, and the next day or maybe 2 days later, relist it as a brand new property at the new price. So what's happening is it's now taking all of these relists of the same property. So really it's been on market for 45 days, but it's showing it's sold in 15 days at the new price.
Right.
So you have to look at all of them combined, which to us is closer to that 30
Yes,
to
I'd say
60
day mark. Yeah, totally.
Which is very normal. Like, again, setting expectations, if we wind back and go back 5 years from today, that was a very normal market.
Oh yeah, 60 to 90
60 to
days.
90 days is no problem. The 1 week sales were not usual.
Right, right.
So it's not a concern, it's just something that we feel because the stats show 27 days, we don't really feel that that's
Super accurate, no.
Sorry, 15 days.
15 days is not
Again.
accurate. No. In terms of pricing, again, we're seeing that correction start to happen still. So our detached prices are was 916,000. So that was down from like 980. That was this time last year. Yes, sorry, I got confused by my months of, no, that was last month. Is that month over month or year over year? I'm confused myself.
Sorry, what were you reading again?
Detached pricing.
Yep, so it was down.
Month over month,
5.5%.
sorry, so that was the month over month rate, sorry. But we're up actually 4% if you look at the year over year pricing, which is interesting to note. So again, before we came on air, we were talking about that correction is still happening. We've come down quite a bit in the market in terms of taking the froth off, which was the goal, I think, of the increase in interest rates and whatnot. We do still have a little bit to go if it gets to that far, but
So
things are still leveling.
Yeah, I feel like the month to month are just like the days on market. They're really skewed,
Yes.
especially because our sales are so low.
And
So-
and it just depends on the kind of property that's sold.
Right.
Like when you're categorizing a detached, that could be anything and everything. Do not disturb on. How did that happen?
Maybe they called 3 times in a row.
That's strange.
They do though. Uh-oh, it froze.
Should be back here.
I put do not disturb on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. One moment, YouTube viewers.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
We're
Okay.
back.
Sorry about
Sorry
that.
about
guys.
that.
Somehow phone call came in. Everything okay right there?
There's a title. Can you see it on your side?
Yes.
High
High maintenance.
maintenance. What? We are not high maintenance. I don't
Well.
know what's happening.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but we'll continue.
Maybe something
anyways,
with the
if we could
filter.
Fiddle with that.
Anyway,
Try
continue on.
tapping it again. Sometimes you tap and it does different filters.
So then semi-priceless, sorry, same thing, had a little bit of a correction, down to 674. Where are you? I feel like I've written all of my 721. So interestingly enough, the most correction has, which kind of makes sense when you go back and look at the history, because those home prices were so inflated for so long.
Yeah.
They were the ones that needed to get corrected the most.
Yeah.
So that's great to see.
So
So
is
yeah,
town selling for more than detached for a while?
yeah.
Or almost on par.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's the psychology that we have to get our heads wrapped around again. The market has slowed down, but it's not to say that things are not selling. It's just taking longer to sell, and our prices are still remaining quite stable. So don't be afraid to list your property if you think that.
And like, again, if we're focusing on the year over year, which is paints a better picture.
Yep.
Like we're pretty on point for pricing, like little adjustments here and there, like the towns, but that needed to happen.
Yep.
So this is a reflection of the adjustments happening based on the interest the government wanted. It's working. The detached, they're all, that was at 4%.
Yeah,
But-
detached and semis are both up. It's just the towns that were down. So it's good.
But when you start to look at all the different pockets, like it really is pretty on point with last year. So Shelburne, we still have a ton of inventory. We're actually sitting at 15 months worth of inventory in Shelburne. And again, I just attribute that the slow sales, which we had 6 sales in the month of September, it's due to inflation. Not to mention, again, a lot of the properties that are listed, because our new listings are up a ton, are coming from Emerald Crossing. People that bought them pre-construction, those prices are now down significantly, so they still have to pay their price tag, but values are down. So as soon as they take ownership, they're going on the market because A, they can't continue to work anymore, and B, the prices are just astronomical.
A lot of them probably bought them as a second investment and probably are overextended at this point.
Yes.
So you let go of the thing that you don't need, you hold on your primary residence, you don't keep the secondary. I mean, rents are up, but are they still being able to cover what mortgages are going through?
Not in that neighborhood.
Right, so you can Shelburne, you only can get so much rental income versus how much you're signing for a mortgage at 7%. The mortgage is astronomical at that point, unless you have like a huge down payment. But the likelihood of that is probably only 20% went down on in most cases.
And on the point of rentals, if you're getting into properties for investment and you want to rent them out, I think it's important to really do your research and talk to a realtor about what is working in that area. So a lot of people bought properties in Shelburne with the intent of renting upper and lower, but that doesn't work in Shelburne. Nobody wants to rent the upper with people living in the basement. So basements rent very quickly, but the main money, which is the main portion of the house, will just sit there. So know your area where, like, know your market. Or do your research there.
Use a local realtor.
Nailed it. So the average overall price in Shelburne is $667, which is up 3.7% compared to September last year. So for all types of housing, that's the average. I feel that's really accurate. We didn't have any semis sell. Towns, we only had a couple, and that one sold at $725, so not bad. So again, Shelburne has come back down to being an affordable place to go. Detached are up 10% year over year. Again, I attribute that to what has sold. Remember, we're basing this only off 6 sales in the month of September. So 4 of those were detached. And they happen to be the newer, larger homes. So that brought the average detached up to $937,500. So all in all, I think pretty good pricing in Shelburne. It's just quite slow moving because of the influx and overflow of inventory.
We're seeing that gap though close between Orangeville and Shelburne again. Which is,
and again, but I like if you look at last month, so month over month in August. Detached, we're sitting at $758,000.
But there again, back to where you have to dive into the details. Last month, it was a lot of older homes, and you had those older bungalows that sold last month.
There were also more sales. There were 18 to compare it to versus 6.
It's crazy how much the numbers are changing. You really just have to look at what you're buying specifically and dive into that.
But I really do find the overall average at 866 is pretty on point.
No, I agree.
So what do you got for us?
So I did something a little different this month. I just wanted to kind of see what we're doing here. We have a good handle on what's happening in Orangeville and Shelburne, but what's happening in the areas around us. So being that we are a city north or a town north of the GTA, typically what happens when the GTA is really busy and inventory is low, people start migrating up this way. We typically have better pricing for what you're getting, more bang for your buck. You have a better home, more property. Orangeville starts getting low on inventory, people start pushing up to Shelburne. And during COVID, we saw people push up to Dundalk because inventory was so scarce. So I wanted to see, okay, well, what are the markets doing in and around us? So we've got your Wellingtons, your Simcoe, GTA, only Peel. I didn't look down in Toronto, I looked just in Peel. But it's across the board, we're pretty much saying the same thing in Dufferin as we are in Wellington, Simcoe, and Peel, because you're getting a decrease on how many properties are actually selling, but we're seeing an increase in listing activities. If you look year over year, the numbers are all pretty similar in each area, except for Peel, which has more of an impact. So we're seeing a lot more of a slowdown there,
Mhm.
which is slowing us down in turn. So
Yes.
I know that you've had a listing in Brampton recently. I've got a listing that should be coming up in the next little while, and just watching the market there, it's in the last few months has really, really had a slowdown, and then we're also seeing the pricing decrease.
Yes.
Where we would see something 6 months or a year ago selling at a very quickly and at a good rate or a listing price, it's now really drastically changing. So again, we start kind of seeing that come up this way here. If they're selling for less down in the city, they're going to be buying for less up here. So how that's all impacting us. I'm not going to go into the numbers too much today because I think we got a good insight here, but I think it's something I'll pull up next month again and just start following the trends there and see how our neighboring communities are.
And it'll be interesting to see. So in my new office, there is a tax and mortgage agent in there. And they now believe, after the recent developments of what's happening globally, they think interest rates might come down in October.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the
Based
first
on
I've heard of
notice
that.
Obviously, like a week
My
ago.
God, I just got perked right up there for a second.
Now this is just one person's perspective.
Right.
But because of how all of this is going to affect us and our dollar and our markets and so on and so forth, they think that's what's going to happen.
Interesting.
Maybe
Yeah.
because I thought that a few months ago with the other global stuff that was happening, and we didn't see really any impact.
Right.
So honestly, I think at this point, nobody
I feel
really
this is-
knows.
No. And
This is really different because now we're talking oil and things like that.
Right.
Okay.
Two things on that to note. Number one, back to your pricing conversation. I feel like just to let anybody know that's considering listing their property or currently has their property listed, having open communication with your realtor about expectations is crucial right now, because we are, I hate to say this, but we are almost as much in the dark as anybody else at this point in terms of pinpointing a correct price for a property. It really is a little bit of an experiment as to what the market is dictating and what buyers are dictating right now. So going back to that example of the listing in Brampton, we kind of got caught in a falling market a little bit, and that activity completely stalled.
Yeah.
So then we literally are almost throwing a dart at a dartboard to try and see what price is going to entice buyers. An educated dart, yes. But when there's so few comparables to go by in recent sales, because transactions are down so much, it then becomes a very difficult pricing strategy. So just to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I think that's fair for anything. Buyers
Yes.
are going to spend what they can afford.
Yep.
Sellers, you just have to
You have to
trust
keep
that
an open
you're-
mind.
have an open mind and set realistic expectations.
Yeah.
And if it's not what works for you, then don't do it. Nobody's saying you have to do this, but
No.
talk to your
And
agent,
no one's
trust
to
it.
say that if you can always get a second opinion or a third if you want it, but a great strategy is go check out open houses that are maybe what you would consider a similar comparable, so you can get a better idea. Obviously, we're all biased over all properties, but you need to keep an open mind there, because it is all based just on, like Sarah said, what the buyer is willing to pay.
Right. Another thing to note, back to the mortgage rates, I had hopped on to a quick little webinar with April and June last night about preparing for renewals. And a tidbit of information just I wanted to pass out there is anybody that's that has a renewal coming up, say 6 to 8 months down the road, now is a really good time to actually start that conversation with your mortgage contact to give you options. So if you are at all stressed about what your renewal is going to look like, or just navigating that whole thing, it really, really is important, especially in this market right now, to start that conversation. They can get rate holds in place and they can give you options so that at the last minute, 2 to 3 weeks before your renewal period, you're not scrambling trying to get
This was
something.
also to Chloe's point a few weeks ago, how long it was taking to get these things processed.
Yes.
Because they're really focusing on the new financing coming in rather than the renewals.
Yep.
So it might take a little bit longer. Don't call your bank and expect to get it in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I think that is feeding a lot of the inventory that we're seeing too. I don't know if you
Yes.
guys are experiencing
Yes.
the same thing
Yes.
with sellers, or even if we have a listing, the buyers that are coming in,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them are trying to get ahead of their refinance because they know that their payments are going to be maxing them out.
Yeah.
So they're selling, dipping into that equity and downgrading slightly, or just pushing into the outskirts so that they can actually ensure that they have an affordability factor there.
I feel like too, though, not, like another thing is not to think in terms of being a seller and worried about that, to just automatically think my only option is to sell. Have a conversation with a couple of different mortgage contacts, because there's all different tricks of the trade that can be done to help you with your affordability and to keep you in your home if that's something that you're worried about.
Oh, 100%.
That was another like big part of the conversation last night, because there is a lot of worry that people, we don't know, and that's great if we do see a decrease, but get a rate hold in place now in case rates continue to go up and we don't know what we're going to be facing come the springtime. Yeah, better to get ahead of it. So,
well, we're at our 20-minute mark.
yes, let's go.
Does everyone want to tour with us? Okay, so if you are on YouTube, you're going to miss out on the tour unless you want to.
I could try.
Jacqueline's going to try. I'm not going to. We're going to grab the cell phone, so hang tight here. So we do want to give a quick thank you very much to Shauna McFadden, who has this listing 35 Second Street in Orangeville. We're at 2.4 for this one. So if that is something that is in your ballpark and you're looking for a home for 2.4, call Sarah DeBoer. But Shauna was gracious enough to allow us to come in here, and we really wanted to showcase this property because it is beautiful. It isn't your typical home that you'd find in Orangeville. It was originally the old jailhouse in town, so we're gonna actually point out a couple, or one little spot that you'll be able to see the original building where the brick is, but it was a little town or a little detached home, and they built it at the back. It is grand, it is spectacular. Land and Lake Custom Homes is actually the builder that has built this gorgeous home. They have a few other ones around town. So definitely, if you want to come check this out, stay with us, and we're going to start that tour.
So while you're getting the camera, the phone, we are in a 3+1 with 4 bath, an elevator, and a kitchen to die for. So I'm super excited to show you guys around.
And thank you to Nick for coming today before we leave him sitting here in this chair.
Yes, forget about him.
Thank you for having me.
Very quiet during the process. Do you want to come around with us?
Yeah, I mean, you can point out some things that might be interesting as well.
Oh, I got to take my shoes off.
So yes, these floors in here are absolutely gorgeous, and we are not going to wear our shoes in here. So if you do come tour this home, please take off your shoes.
Yeah, don't mind our bare feet.
I don't really know where to put this mic. I'm going to put it here.
Okay, we're gonna.
Hi, Shauna. We're just getting lined up to tour.
If anybody has any questions about the property, please pop them in the chat and we will answer them, or Shauna will answer them because she's also here watching.
Jacqueline, your mic is going to.
I unplugged it.
All right.
So we should be okay.
Come along with me, friends.
This will be interesting because I'm using the front camera.
So you don't know where you're walking. So this is a giant island. Obviously, they've got, if you want to look at this, multi-purpose sink. So it's actually fantastic because they have these things that slot in. So you've got like your cutting boards, your strainers. We just installed one of these in our kitchen. Not as big as this, but it's amazing. Gas stove in here, your cabinets up top, sneaky. Built-in appliances. You've got your built-in fridge over here, which is lovely. They did such beautiful work in this home. What was the countertop that she called it? A leather?
Leather finish.
A leather finish. It feels like a crocodile or something. It's very hard to see, but very, very pretty.
Yeah, I love this counter.
If you know me, you know that I love all the extra things, but look at this. So walking outside, you're just going to grab the back porch, and we can show you the backyard from here if you guys can sneak through that place.
I love how it's tied in. Yeah.
Area. This overlooks the backyard.
And the backyard is actually a very nice size, considering how much space they use for the size of the home. We still have a good sized backyard there. I'm thinking maybe you throw in a pool, maybe you put in a climbing space, a fire pit, gazebo.
My thing yesterday, trampoline.
Downstairs, underneath us is the access to the garage. So there is a garage access down there. And
Don't drop the laptop.
Landscaping is beautiful.
Oh, it's cold out here.
We got awfully cold in our bare feet. So this is a long stretch. I know Jess is getting that view there, and Jacqueline. The fireplace in the middle is absolutely stunning. It's a marble casing. And then I also want to make sure that we point out the beautiful furniture in this place. So you do have the option to buy this whole home fully furnished. You have to negotiate the price on that one. But the actual like table is a Hockley Design Co. They're from the area. They're out in Hockley, and if you check them out on Instagram, Hockley Design Co. They don't do a ton on there, but their work is stunning. This is actually the table that I want in my house, just a little bit smaller. Take note.
And it weighs a ton.
A ton.
It is real wood.
We're like, maybe we can move this and do a whole filming here with the kitchen. It's too heavy.
Yeah, didn't work.
So we do have things a little bit wonky in this section because obviously we were just filming. So here's our lovely setup.
And that fireplace throws crazy heat because honestly, I was so warm sitting. Hi again, Nick. He doesn't want to come on a tour with us.
This is the front of the home facing right onto Second Street. You've got a cute little breezeway area here.
Look out, Jess. I love this.
Okay, that shot, I didn't even notice this when we were in here yesterday, this cathedral ceiling they have.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous.
And
It's
this is
hard.
the original part of the house. So this is what it was just this little section.
Beautiful glass railing.
And the glass company I just started following, what's their name again?
French glass.
French Glass, thank you. They did all the glass work in here, which is also stunning.
Beautiful.
Gonna try and do that shot from the front here. So this is right when you walk in the front door. You have this beautiful sitting room, glass staircase,
There is an elevator.
TV space.
There's a door here.
I'm just gonna pick off and bring her things.
There's also like a little breezeway because we live in Dufferin and there's lots of wind and snow. Okay, turning
All
around.
right, so this is the most exciting part. This here is your elevator. It is still in the works. It will be painted white with glass on the top. Don't fall down the hole.
Don't fall down the hole.
And insurance. But this is a very awesome feature in this home. So when you actually go downstairs and you go all the way to the top, you'll see why it would be so pertinent to have that, because if you come in with all your groceries,
Yeah.
it is going to save you from doing the stairs.
And because they put the driveway at the back with the garage and your front door is way up here, so super convenient.
Ladies and gents.
The natural light up here is amazing. I'll show you the.
So many windows. And again,
Very
lots of glass
wide.
work in here.
Wide staircase.
I think I can't even get it all.
I know. It's hard to get it all shot.
All right, so starting over here, so we have a 3-bedroom. Again, furniture can be sold with the place. It is furnished to the best level. It's so pretty. Shauna did an amazing job in here.
Bedroom
Next
2.
bedroom. I love the view out of this room. Like I can't see.
This time of year with the the leaves, the color on the leaves changing. It's like a natural work of art. Absolutely beautiful.
And
Just
then each
imagine all the different change of the seasons, getting all that tree canopy. Beautiful shots of Orangeville.
Oh, can't even get it all in here.
No,
It's
you
so-
really have to come and see this in person.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do it justice trying to get this on film.
and just the finishes that were picked in here. Everything's unique. Everything's got its own style to it. It's beautiful.
The gold finishes in here, beautiful.
Right.
Rain shower head.
This is going to be your primary bedroom. Oh, I'm mic'd up and Jess is back there. Come on in.
And off to the primary suite. Here's the access to the elevator. Beautiful gas fireplace. Again, look at that with those windows and that color.
So the next room, you're going to have your upstairs laundry and closet, walk in, and then into the primary bathroom.
How amazing would this be to have?
I'll go in here. Oh. Excuse me, Sarah. May we come in?
Just hanging out in the tub.
Oh,
The best tub.
I love this shower.
gorgeous.
Like everything in here is all the seamless drains, seamless air vents.
And the lights, like the lights that she
Windows.
chose in here, the fixtures, everything. So much thought. All right, ladies, let's head on downstairs.
Just give a nice shot of those floors again.
Over here, you're gonna lay on. So that would be your elevator in that corner.
Up to the staircase and that beautiful glass railing. Does anyone have any questions about the home? Pop it in the chat.
Or home maintenance or market stuff.
Yes, anything at all.
Okay, I need to bring my phone though, just in case I lose hotspot. Sorry.
For example of the beautiful artwork and lighting. We have a whole other third level of finished living space down here.
And the thought, I think, what they have here is that you could make this into an in-law or a nanny suite down here if you wanted to. So you have the kitchenette kind of space.
Yeah.
You just have to obviously bring in the appliances, but the room is there for it.
Mm-hmm.
The bedroom and another laundry area. So actually come in here. This is what I love the most. This is your cold cellar or your wine cellar. But the actual brick that's in here is the original brick. So that's where I was saying before, that the original brick from the jailhouse.
You have a piece of Orangeville's history in your home.
Isn't that cute? Love it.
We're involved with these lights here, as you can see.
Oh, thank you.
A work of art in and of itself. Beautiful.
This is not the best camera work, my friends. I'm
No,
very
I
sorry.
apologize. I am not a videographer.
Doing my best.
All right, so in here you have your extra laundry room.
And yes, this is the second laundry.
Ooh.
Sarah's hand is on the door to the mechanical room. You have everything all neatly tucked into here. There's two furnaces. And
Yes,
this
so
is
Nick pointed out to us today that the one furnace controls just the upstairs.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you've got your elevator access again. This is a side entrance.
Elevator.
I might have so they're gonna be, I think. Oh, you're
I might have two, yeah. Yes, this takes you out to, what street is this?
Third?
No?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I'm not a street person.
Anyway,
Especially when there's First Ave and First Street,
Right.
Second Ave and Second Street.
So this is the bathroom down, or bedroom down here, sorry. This is Jacqueline's favorite bathroom and possibly mine too. Oh, there's lights in there. Let me get those.
Trying to do this without me and the reflection. There we go.
No, I don't, yeah.
gorgeous. This takes you out to the garage. We'll show you that. And then here you have another full bedroom.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's full.
And then this is your attached 2-car. It's probably 2.5 actually, eh?
Yeah, I think
it's
so,
pretty
yeah.
big.
We got a lot of room on both sides.
And all this
Well,
tool
how
storage
you know
and stuff here.
yesterday, we fit 2 pickup trucks here with a walkway in the middle. So plenty of space for parking.
Got my legs.
I'm sorry, I can't see. I'm cutting your head off. There we go. That's better.
So again,
Love the
this is
gold.
Shauna McFadden, Royal Lepage RCR Realty, custom built by Land and Lake Custom Homes. Available for sale, $2.399 million. And you have the option to have it fully furnished as you see it.
And the artwork.
The artwork. Yes.
Yes. It was a great buy. I was saying to Shauna, I've been trying to figure out how to actually make this artwork myself.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
you could, I'm sure.
So we will end the tour there. And we will do our send off, I suppose.
You want some
Over
Nick?
here to the kitchen?
Yeah.
Lost Nick. Pan this around so we can see our faces. Okay, this is going to be awkward. But we'll sort it out here. I'll
Already
just
been
extend my
awkward.
arm. So thank you for joining us. Tune in to past episodes. Episode 10, we featured Nick last time around, And he had some other great tips for home maintenance, so be sure to check that out.
Coat drive.
We also wanted to remind you that we are doing again our Coats for Duffer and Coat Drive. It is all adult and children outdoor wear. So splash pants, spring jackets, fall jackets, winter jackets, snow pants, hats, mitts, scarves. I can't fit all of us in. There's a number of local businesses that are helping us to participate. So please go and check our posts out for all those locations to drop off. And if by any means you are in need of clothing, please contact us directly. We'll be sure to get you whatever sizes you're in need of.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us again. Any other questions, get in touch. Otherwise, enjoy your day.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody.
Take care.
Until
Bye.
next time.